Hi everyone, Peter Wolf from Azamba Consulting Group here. We're going to talk about how to increase sales with Sage CRM. Since 2007, Azamba has helped over 400 small and medium-sized companies get up and running with CRM. Most of those are Sage 100, Sage 300, or Sage X3 integrated. So if you have one of those products, you're in the right spot. We focus on quick deployments, but also long-term consumption so that you get a return on your investment with CRM. We do everything with 100% money back guarantee. So when we go forward, you can bet that we have your best interest at heart. So let's talk about today's agenda. So today's agenda is all about how to increase sales with Sage CRM. And these are some of the top 5 ways. There's other ways. And if you have a particular need that you want to talk about, you can reach out to us at www.azamba.com/sage. But let's just stick with these for today. The first and foremost is it'll help you become and stay better organized. A lot of sales teams struggle because people aren't organized. The salespeople are great at solving problems and putting solutions together, but possibly they aren't as good as being organized, and the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. That's always a problem in today's sales organizations, especially because today's customers are more demanding than ever before. A big part of becoming and staying better organized is setting up processes and routines so you don't miss a step. That's number 2 here. So we're going to talk about how to make sure that your people don't miss a step, don't miss a follow-up that could cost them customer or brand, either customer retention or a brand new prospect turning into a customer. Another thing that we're going to cover is working as a team. In the last 20 years since I've been helping people with CRM, I've seen bigger shift from account-based selling to team-based selling. And you might still use account-based selling, but probably if you're like most businesses out there, more and more, no person is an island unto themselves, and you rely on the whole team to organize and to serve those customers, to increase retention, increase satisfaction, make sure that they stay happy and keep coming back for more. The fourth thing that we're going to cover is how CRM will help you get the big picture fast. Part of that is just getting the data in one place. You can report on it, analyze trends. But if you want to get better and improve something, you need to be able to measure it and see what's happening. A lot of prospects that we talk to don't really understand what's happening in their sales pipeline. They don't understand what each salesperson is doing. So why is one salesperson seeing success and another person isn't? Well, CRM will help you to get the big picture so you can start to analyze those trends and make informed decisions. And the last thing we're going to cover today is how to take advantage of the small things in CRM. There's a lot of little things that just add up to huge productivity gains once you put them all in place. So we're going to cover a few of those things, some of my favorite tips and tricks, and I think you're going to like those. So let's get started. And like I said before, this isn't the end all be all. These are just 5 of the top things that I think will help you increase your sales. If you want a personal consultation, reach out to us at azamba.com/sage. There'll be other videos there, and there'll be a form to reach out and connect with me personally. So with that said, let's get started. We're inside of our CRM now. So let's take a quick look at the first topic, which is how to use CRM to stay better organized. So one of the key principles of CRM, I would say it's kind of the hub that everything rotates around, is making sure that you stay on top of your daily activities. So this is the calendaring system in CRM. Sage CRM offers multiple different views. This is one of my favorite views. It's called the agenda view, and it gives me a list by day of what things need to be done. And it clearly identifies things that I'm late on, they're in red, and then things that are in green are coming up. And you can see this tickler, you can go forward, you can look at future days, you can go back in time and see what you've worked on. You also can quickly take care of things. So if today I have these things on my list of to do, I just click on this task. I come in here. It says, I'm supposed to call to discuss our product offerings for 2021. So let's just say I spoke with David. He is going to meet with me on the 6th. And that's it. And you can leave different notes. The key is that you leave a note that will help you remember the conversation, and to help your coworkers if you're out, if they want to see what happened with the call with David at Arval, they can see what happened. So that's really kind of the key of the note. And for right now, I could just mark this as completed because I just took care of that call and hit save, and it will take me back to the list and move on to the next thing. But before I do that, David wants to meet with me on the 6th. So I just want to quickly come in here and say create a follow-up task, hit save, And now I'm just going to say, set up a meeting. David asked to meet to discuss new initiatives for 2021. And I will just change this date to the 6th. And I'm going to hit save. And so what's going to happen now is it's going to remove that first task that I had. And it's going to take me back to my calendar so I can work on the next task. So there it is. You can see that task is gone. And I'm moving on to my next task. And if I look forward to the 6th, you'll see that I have a follow-up here, that meeting that I just set up that David asked me to meet to discuss what's going on. And again, I can just keep working through my list, taking care of the things that I need to do. Another really nice feature about this is I can sort and filter things. So if I just want to sit down and make phone calls, I can say, just show me my phone calls, or just show me my emails. I need to crank out some emails or send out quotes. This action list is completely controllable by you. So what you would do is work with my team. We'd set up actions that matter to you, things that you want to track, things that you want to stay on top of, and we would customize this list for you. All right, so you can slice and dice this agenda, this task list, any way you want. There's different views too. You can look at the calendar views, you can look at the specific task views, and your style, depending on your style, you may choose one of those other views. Like I said, this is my favorite view of this data. The other thing that Sage CRM allows you to do is work as a team. So this is the part where, how do I work better as a team? A lot of companies come to us, they're using Outlook and spreadsheets and data's like in people's heads or on pieces of paper. It makes it really hard to be responsive to your customers and prospects. Well, with Sage CRM, once all of this information is in here, if I'm a manager, if I have permissions to do so, I can go and look at anybody's calendar. So I could jump over and look at Brian Little's calendar and see he doesn't have anything planned. So maybe I need to have a talk with him and make sure that he has stuff to do or that he's focused on the right activities instead of just winging it. The other thing that you can do is, so I'm in this area of CRM called My CRM. This is everything that's important to me. I'm logged in as Susan Mays. She's the head of sales, and I can see her calendar. But you can also go over to the Team CRM calendar, and you could look at everybody's calendar. So I can see what's going on for the whole sales team, and you could divide those teams up however you want. You could have inside sales, outside sales, West Coast, East Coast. And so you can see everybody's calendar in one place. Another nice thing, I'm gonna go back to Susan's calendar, is that when you track these activities, not only do they get tracked on Susan's calendar, so this is all Susan's tasks, but if Robert Condre calls up and says, Susan was supposed to call me today, someone else in the company could take that call. And if they go pull up Robert's record, Robert has his view of the world. And under his view of the world, you can see there's that call that Susan was supposed to make. And so if I also go over to the company that Robert works for and go to the communications, I'll see the same thing. And what's nice is that this view of the world would show us everything that anybody in our company. So if Susan, and other people had been talking with Robert or someone else at his company, you would see all that in one place. And the benefit there, of course, is that you put information in once, it's available for everybody to see quickly wherever they are in the system. They don't need to go hunting for it. They don't need to, scratch their head and figure out what the heck's going on. It's right there for them. All right, so that's a great way to make sure that you stay organized, keep organized, you don't miss a trick because of the follow-up system, and the information allows you to work as a team. There's another really cool thing that I mentioned with the calendar, which is the automations. So these things that get on the calendars, they happen one of three ways. One is you put them on the calendar. So I'm Susan and I have a call with Robert. That's the most basic, obvious way to get things in your calendar. The second way is coworkers, if they have permission to do so, can put things on your calendar. So maybe as Susan, I have direct reports. I might say, hey, Brian, I don't have time to do this. So I'm going to say, come in here and say, send him the quote. And I'm going to assign this to my coworker, my direct report. I'm going to remove myself. And so now this task is going to be assigned to Brian Little and it'll show up on Brian Little's calendar. And so that's the second way things can get on your calendar. And the third way is the automation. And this is the most powerful thing. Once Sage CRM is set up correctly, you can create automations. I call it an invisible personal assistant. And so the invisible personal assistant will make sure that nobody misses a trick, nobody, drops a ball, to make sure that you're giving the best high quality experience for your customers and prospects. So a real simple example is I send a quote, and in 2 business days, my system would put on that calendar, follow up with Robert about that quote you sent. Again, that's just a real simple example. You could probably think of dozens of other ways that type of automation would make sure that your salespeople are focused on the important things that they need to be doing, talking to customers, building their relationship, figuring out the right products and services for those customers, and let the system do what it's best at. Those reminders, those follow-ups, those appointments. That's what the system does really well. Let your people do what they do really well. So that's one of the biggest powers of Sage CRM. Let's talk about getting the big picture. So with all this data coming in here, it's great to be able to go pull up a record and see this data, but you can also go to look at dashboards. And so dashboards are a great way to kind of collapse all the information in one place at one time. So I can quickly look at my sales dashboard, and I can see kind of at a high level view what's going on with my opportunities, who I'm talking to. I've got a lot of open opportunities here. I better start closing some of these off. And again, just like with before, you can also look at the team's dashboard. This is one view of the dashboard. We call it a single pane of glass, because basically it provides a single pane of glass to see everything that's going on with either an individual employee or your whole team at a glance. And you can start to measure things and see what's stalling out. And this is a great way to kind of organize your day and make sure you're focusing on the right things, and to see if there's anything that is of concern that you need to address. So for example, you could make a list of open opportunities that, with the date in here of when they were supposed to close, so you could stay on top of them. And that's a great way to kind of stay organized. But there's another way to use dashboards that a lot of people don't take advantage of. I call it an early warning system. And so with the early warning system, imagine a set of dashboards that are empty. And I kind of ask people to visualize the Matthew Broderick movie War Games. So when Matthew Broderick goes into the NORAD bunker, there's all those monitors on the wall that are clean. There's nothing going on. There's no alerts. There's no notifications, anything. But then when the Russian fighter jet shows up over Alaska, all of a sudden the screens blare to life. That's a great way to stay organized and make sure that you're putting out fires before they get out of control. So an example of that type of dashboard, that early warning system dashboard, would be my accounts I haven't spoken to in the last 90 days. Now, in an ideal world, your salespeople are always staying on top of accounts. We're always talking with them. We're staying in touch with them. But the truth is, the 80-20 rule applies to sales, and probably 20% of your customers account for 80% of your sales. So it's very easy to neglect, not intentionally, but it happens, the other 80% of those customers. And so you don't want to do that, because those customers still are valuable. You never know what they're going to order. You never know what they're going to need. And it's harder to find new customers than keep existing customers. So let's keep them happy. So imagine a dashboard that's completely empty, but then names pop up on there if you haven't spoken to them, if you haven't had any contact with them in the last 90 days. What that does for your sales team is it helps you know who to call and who to take care of. So if I have some downtime, I would give those people a call back, stay connected, stay in touch with them. Another great example is quotes that were supposed to close in the last month. So if I put something in today and I say it's going to close by the end of the day, well, when I come in the next business day, if that thing shows up on this dashboard, it means something went wrong. Maybe I filed the paperwork wrong. Maybe I set the close date inappropriately. Maybe it wasn't supposed to close tomorrow. Maybe it's a month from tomorrow. Maybe I just got the month wrong. Maybe their funding fell through. I don't know, but something needs to happen. And those are two simple examples of how an early warning system can help you stay organized and make sure that you're staying on top of those deals to increase your close rates, or at least your chance of your close rate. It's very easy to miss out on things when you're juggling a lot of different opportunities. So this is a tool that we use effectively with our customers to make sure that they stay on top of those sales. Another area that is obviously important is reports. And just so we're all clear, the dashboards are mini reports. So if you wanted to, you can convert most reports into dashboards and see them in that format. But I want to show you one really great report that we recommend customers use, which is activity breakdown by user. What this allows me to do is very quickly, I'm just going to jump right through this. We have other videos on our website. So if you go to the azamba.com/sage, there's all sorts of other videos that will go into reporting and dashboards in more depth. I just kind of wanted to focus on the high level here. But this is a great way of seeing who on my team is working on what. And again, if we're talking about increasing sales, this allows me to see, so for example, if Wayne Parcells here is complaining he doesn't have enough leads, well, we run this report and we can see Wayne hasn't really been logging any of these activities. So what's going on with Wayne? There's something needs to be done with Wayne, that's for sure. But let's focus instead on our 3 top salespeople. So John, Peter, and Susan. And from here, we can kind of get an assessment of, if Susan's just crushing it, she's just hitting her numbers right and left, we can see, she's doing twice as many letters out. She's having, twice, if not 4 times many meetings as the other 2. She's really crushing the phones. This helps us set up patterns. And now I'm not a big fan of data is everything. I think that you have to take the data with the situations. It's possible that Susan has a bigger territory or a better territory with more boutique customers. Maybe she's been around longer, so she's got the A-level customers. But what this does is it supplements your other information and it takes away a lot of the guesswork. So instead of wondering what your salespeople are up to, you can come in here and see this. And if I'm a salesperson, I could go in and see what Susan's doing, figure out her secret to success, and start to help improve my own sales. That puts more commission checks in my pocket if your people have compensation based on commissions. It also makes my days easier. And frankly, it makes me feel better about myself by being able to, improve in my chosen profession. So this is just another great way of seeing it. There's all sorts of other reports in here. There's hundreds of reports that you can use to better mobilize your team around sales. And I'm going to leave it at that and suggest again that you go to azamba.com/sage. There'll be other resources there for you. I want to talk now about the little things. These are the little things that probably sound trivial at first, but they really add up. So, for example, if I want to look through all the people in the database, I've got 1,772 people. But if I only want to see my people, you can put these filters in. And this is out of the box. You can customize this to put data in that's important to you. But I could come in here and say, just give me my contacts and hit find. And maybe I want to see only my contacts in a certain city. So London, I don't have any contacts in London, so bad example. But let's say we want to look at the US East territory, because I know there's some in there. So I've got 10 people in there. And so you'll do these searches, you'll connect with people. But a real simple thing to do is if you do those searches over and over again, you can save those searches. So you can say my US East contacts. And now what happens with that, and again, this is a real simple thing, but now if I clear this out and go back to the default search, I see my 1772. With a single click here, I can just filter out those saved contacts. Very easy, very simple to do. Another thing you could do with its Sage CRM is you can set up email templates. And a lot of people don't do this, but this is something that really can help you improve your efficiency of your team and improve the consistency of the team. So for example, let's say a common thing that you do is send customers a latest product catalog. Well, what most people would do there is they'd pull up their Outlook, they would draft up an email, they would say a couple words, couple sentences, they would go and search for that document, that latest catalog, they'd attach it, and then they'd send it off. It doesn't take that long, but it takes time. And if you're doing that a couple times a day, a couple times a week, it starts to add up across all your salespeople. So what you can do with Sage CRM is you can just click an email address and you can set up templates. And I don't really have a lot of templates here in my demo system, but you can set up templates for whatever you want. And each template, what it does is it will merge in data, almost like an old-fashioned snail mail label merge. And so you can draft up an initial message that your people can use. You can have some consistency in messaging. You could also automatically have the document that they want attached. So one person can go and find that file, attach it to this email template so that every one of your people doesn't have to go dig around and try to find it. Or worse, they pull up an old one that they have saved on their local hard drive because they didn't see the update or they just didn't make the time to put the updated file on their hard drive. So this is a great way to kind of just save some time. The side benefit is once you send the email here, it would be saved to that person's record. So you'd see that. So we'd all see that Susan May sent Arthur Brown the product catalog on today's date. That's huge. Again, working as a team. So those are some of the simple things. Other simple things that make life easy is A lot of times in life, we work in patterns. So if I'm working with Arthur Brown at Design Right this week because he's asked for a quote and I'm going back and forth with him, well, instead of searching for his record every time I talk to him or pulling him up, Sage makes it easy to find them. They save the most recent records, recent companies, people, opportunities, whatever it is that you're working on, it saves it in this recent list to make it faster for your people to connect. So again, those are little things, but they really start to add up. One final thing I want to show you, and it kind of goes back into seeing the big picture, is if I go to Design Right, I had mentioned before the dashboard at the personal level, the team level, where you could see everything that's going on across the individual person or the team. You also have a company-based dashboard. This company-based dashboard, again, this is a sample system. You would make it sing and dance the way you want it to sing and dance. This is set up to show you all the important stuff that's going on with this customer. And this can be very powerful because let's say Design Right is calling in out of the blue. So instead of clicking around and trying to piece together, what's going on with this customer, you have everything that's critical right here at my fingertips. So for example, if I'm if I'm taking an inbound call from Design Right, or if I actually have an on-site meeting with them scheduled, I could come here to the dashboard and I might see here, for example, there's 5 open service cases. They're all in red, which means they've been out there for a while. Before I take this call, I might want to dig into these and find out what's going on here so that when I talk to Artie at Design Right, I have a better answer for him. And I'm not taken off guard because he's mad as a hornet because we've had a bunch of service issues that have been lingering for too long. So it's another great small little way to, small but powerful way to stay on top of things to increase the satisfaction of the customer, which ultimately will increase your sales. So I wanted to show you a quick overview here. If you have questions, if you see anything that interests you and you're wondering a little bit more about that, please check out azamba.com/sage. On there, there'll be other resources, other videos, and there's a link to connect with me, and I'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one because that's where it all starts, is your needs are specific. Your needs are special to you. And so what I like to do is talk to you, figure out what your needs are, match them to the other hundreds of customers we've helped to give you the best advice that you can go forward and you can increase your sales with Sage CRM. So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope this was useful, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.